Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel, and it's called Gail's Journey. So if you get a chance, please subscribe, and then you'll automatically get the updates. So it's Gail's Journey. And then if you have any questions or you'd like to email me with any comments or concerns, it's gailsjourney101@gmail.com. So I'm at an adoption conference, and it has been unbelievable coming here. And the reasons I came here are not what I'm going back with. I focused too much on myself, and now I'm going to go back and really focus on my son and his emotions and tapping into those. So I was lucky enough to interview a couple of people. So I'm going to let him introduce himself, and then I have a few questions.
Hi, I'm Gail. I'm an adoptee, and I also am a recovering alcoholic. I started a 12-step meeting in Los Angeles that's focused on addiction and adoption. For people who are addicted to something, whether it's food, drugs, sex, alcohol, gambling, Candy Crush, whatever it may be, it's a safe space for people who are adopted to talk about those things.
Okay, thank you. And so I have a few questions. So first of all, tell me, kind of like in your life where you're at right now. How are you doing?
I'm 45 years old. I'm 5 years sober. I work in advertising. I've got a nice career. I started that group about a year ago, and also I'm in the middle of my search for my birth mother. I found her online, but not really in contact yet. And that's a whole process that's working.
When did you find out you were adopted?
I had always known the parents who raised me, my mom and dad, always told me and always tried to make me feel loved.
And what made you decide to search out your birth?
A lot of adoptees will tell you that they have this an inexplicable feeling of loss that just follows them around. And I think the separation from a birth mother when you're born, the only body you've ever known for 10 months and your only home, creates a sort of trauma. And between that, wanting to heal that part of my life, and also just wanting to know what happens in the chapter 1, that's sort of driven me to.
So when you decided to do that, how did your adoptive family feel? Because that's the role I'm coming from.
They cannot be better about it. They are so supportive. My dad is excited to get the chance to meet her and meet the family. My mom is not always the most emotionally supportive, and she wrote me a really nice letter, but they could not be more wonderful about it. And I've seen families where they said, if you go searching for your birth family, then we don't want you in our family.
Gosh, I know as a adoptive, the parent, it does scare me. So coming here to this conference, I've realized that I'm just going to have to start talking to my son more about his emotions, because after meeting everybody here, including you, I can see that that's probably why he gets angry and he's very emotional. Mm-hmm. And then anytime we get mad at him, Mom, please don't be mad. Mom, please don't, Mom, do you still love me? So, growing up, what did you feel like you went through that maybe you didn't identify what it was because you didn't meet your birth mom or you were adopted?
Sure. I think there's a lot of things that just affect you as a person. I think not knowing where you belong and not seeing people that look like you is a very hard thing for kids to know, and just sort of always feeling apart from everybody, feeling different. I was always the smallest, skinniest, smartest kid in my grade, and often the new kid, and that also made me feel apart from everybody. If you talk to a lot of alcoholics, not just alcoholics, but a lot of people, they'll tell you they always felt separate from everybody. And I think that happens to a lot of different people in a lot of different backgrounds, but I think adoptees especially feel that.
So I was thinking this, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think, like everything I brought to sell, I didn't sell anything. And then 2 or 3 people, the adoptees said, well, we don't put like the sticker you made on our car, and we don't put the plaques up that said I'm adopted, and we don't have the legacy of a birth mom on there. So and then a couple people have shared that you know, they couldn't, when their adoptive mother especially would say, oh my God, look at him, he's so special, he doesn't look like us. So did you ever experience anything like that made you feel uncomfortable?
You know what's funny is people would say I looked a little bit like my dad or I looked a little like my mom. I shared some, just randomly, I shared genetic backgrounds, like I'm part German and Irish, my mom is German, Dutch, Irish, and my dad is Spanish, and my birth mom was Spanish and Filipino. So there's some overlap. My sister doesn't look like my parents to a larger degree, but often people, like when I tell them I'm adopted, will say, well, you don't look adopted. Like, well, what does that mean to you? It's not like there's a scarlet A that we carry around or anything. So it's, you know, we're just the same as everybody else. Unless you meet our families and we look remarkably different, you're not going to be able to tell.
Do you think, from the adoptees you talk to, do you think most of the struggles is that like an emptiness feeling, or?
I think earlier in the conference, someone identified the 7 key issues facing adoptees. The number one is loss. There's intimacy issues. There's rejection issues. I definitely believed that eventually someone would find out something about me and they'd reject me, so I would act to reject them before they rejected me.
Oh man, that's good.
And also just to feel a little bit of a sense of insecurity, and not knowing where my roots were sort of led to that feeling of insecurity.
And about what age were you when you decided to start searching for your birth mom?
I think I was 22 or 23. And I'd always known about adoption. I knew the adoption agency and what the process was, and I just said, you know what, I'd like to find out. I understand, like, I've got some issues, and I think this would help.
Do you think being adopted and not meeting your birth mom at the beginning more often, do you think that led to some issues that you had, or?
About 18 years ago, the adoption agency found a brother of hers who said he passed on the letter that I wrote to her and that she didn't want to be contacted. And that was extremely difficult. That was like facing a death. And I definitely grieved that for a while, and I definitely drank a lot over that. So I definitely was on my way to being an alcoholic anyways. I think that certainly didn't hurt.
Okay, so before, like in the closing of this interview, if you were to talking to people or kids that are adopted or people, what do you think are some like tidbits of words of wisdom and what to focus on and how to overcome some of those feelings?
Number one, I would say to any adopted kid, I would say that you were loved and you were wanted, and that you are a special person. That there was nothing you did that caused you to be rejected by your birth mother. That's how I felt. And then I would say just learn and see what's out there. There are plenty of stories and plenty of support groups, and you can talk to a million different people on the internet these days, as this video will show. And find out what's important to you, and if you can, try and find out about your roots. Even if there is a rejection like I faced, that journey will teach you a lot about yourself.
Okay. All righty. Well, thank you so much. And it was nice meeting you. Thank you.